Hello everyone, myself Dr. Jyoti Ganguly, Assistant Professor of Zoology, KTHM College Nasik. Students, today we are going to discuss on the new chapter, that is necrosis. In that we are discussing on the topic, that is definition of necrosis, then nuclear and cytoplasmic changes and types of necrosis. So let us discuss first what is mean by necrosis. So the necrosis is defined as focal death along with degradation of tissue by hydrolytic enzymes liberated by cells. So it is invariably accompanied by inflammatory secretion. So necrosis can be caused by various agents such as hypoxia, then chemical or physical agents, microbial agents and immunological injury. So, two essential changes bring about irreversible cell injury in necrosis. So, this is what is meant by the necrosis or definition of necrosis, and there are certain agents by which the necrosis takes place such as hypoxia, chemical as well as physical agents, microbial agents or immunological injuries. So due to which the necrosis occurs. So here two type of cell changes are there, or essential changes which bring about irreversible cell injury in necrosis. Cell digestion by lytic enzymes and denaturation of proteins. So these processes are morphologically identified by characteristic cytoplasmic and nuclear changes in necrotic cell. So, we focused on the nuclear as well as cytoplasmic changes due to the necrosis. So, here the cytoplasm appears homogeneous and intensely eosinophilic. So, occasionally it may show vacuolation or dystrophic calcification. So, in case of cytoplasm, the cytoplasm shows vacuolation or shows the presence of vacuoles, vacuolation or dystrophic calcification. Whereas, in case of the nucleus, the nuclear changes include condensation of nuclear chromatin. So, nuclear material which get reduced or condensed, or it is known as pycnosis. So, pycnosis means the nuclear condensation of nuclear chromatin. It is nothing but the pycnosis. Now, which may either undergoes a dissolution. So, such a pycnosis which further enter into the process or undergo a process of dissolution, and such a process is known as karyolysis. So, pycnosis which undergoes a dissolution process, and it is nothing but the karyolysis. Now, the karyolysis or fragmentation into many granular clumps, and which is nothing but the karyorrhexis. So, these are the different terminologies, that is pycnosis, then karyolysis or karyorrhexis. Karyorrhexis, it is nothing but the fragmentation of such a karyolytic dissolution or such a pycnosis, or what we say is that here such a nuclear material which undergo a fine granular clumps, or it is nothing but the karyorrhexis. So these are the changes that takes place due to the necrosis. Now the next, here you can see in this diagram. So this is the diagram which depicts the nuclear changes in the cell necrosis. So this is the normal cell, and here you can see in case of pycnosis. So pycnosis where the condensation of nuclear material takes place. The second, that is karyolysis, where such a chromatin material, condensed chromatin material which undergo dissolution, that is karyolysis. And the third, that is the karyorrhexis, where such a chromatin material, such a fragmented condensed material which form a granular clumps, which form many, not a single, they form many granular clumps, and this is nothing but the karyorrhexis. So this is what about the nuclear changes in the necrotic cell. Now the next is types of necrosis. So morphologically, there are 5 distinct types of necrosis are identified. The types such as coagulative necrosis, then liquefaction necrosis, then caseous necrosis, after that fat necrosis, as well as fibrinoid necrosis. These are the 5 different types of necrosis. So we are discussing the types one by one. So first is the coagulative necrosis. So the coagulative necrosis is the most common type of necrosis caused by irreversible focal injury, mostly from sudden cessation of blood flow, or we also call it as a ischemia. So, and less often from bacterial and chemical agents. So here the organs commonly affected are heart, kidney as well as spleen. You can focus on this diagram here. So the diagram which depicts here the foci of coagulative necrosis. Here you can focus here. The foci of coagulative necrosis in the early stage are pale, firm and slightly swollen. With progression, they become more yellowish, softer and shrunken. Now, microscopically, the hallmark of coagulative necrosis is the conversion of normal cells into their tombstones, that is, outlines of the cells are retained so that the cell type can still be recognized, but their cytoplasm and nuclear details are lost. Though the outline is visible, but the inside of the content which lost, either cytoplasmic or nuclear material which get lost. So the necrosed cell, here you can see these are the necrosed cells. So the necrosed cells are swollen and appear more eosinophilic than the normal. Now along with the nuclear changes, here the pattern of microscopic change probably results from denaturation of structural and enzymatic proteins, but here the cell digestion and liquefaction fail to occur. So the necrosed focused in infiltrated by inflammatory cells, and the dead cells are phagocytosed, leaving the granular debris and fragments of cells. Now, this is what the first type of necrosis, that is coagulative necrosis, in which you have to remember the cell boundaries they retain, but inside of the nuclear and cytoplasmic content which get detail of the material which get lost. Now, the next type of necrosis, that is liquefaction or colliquative necrosis. So, here the liquefaction or colliquative necrosis occurs commonly due to ischemic injury and bacterial infections. It occurs due to degradation of tissue by the action of powerful hydrolytic enzymes. So, due to the action of powerful hydrolytic enzyme, such a necrosis takes place, that is liquefaction type of necrosis takes place. So, the common examples are that is infract vein and that is abscess cavity. So, here you can focus on this diagram particularly. Here the affected area is soft with liquefied center containing necrotic debris. Here you can see liquefactive necrosis. So, the affected area is soft with liquefied center containing necrotic debris, or later a cyst wall is formed. Later the cyst wall is formed. So here microscopically the cystic space contains necrotic cell debris and macrophages filled with phagocytosed material. Here the cyst wall is formed by proliferating capillaries, inflammatory cells and gliosis. So in case of the brain and proliferating fibroblast in the case of abscess cavity. So here you can see here a cyst is formed or cyst which contains the macrophage or macrophage which is nothing but the degrading body which degrade all whatever the material present inside the cell. So liquefaction necrosis, it is the second type of necrosis. Now the third type of necrosis, it is the caseous necrosis. So the caseous necrosis is found in the center of tuberculous infection, which is found in case of the tuberculous infection. So it combines feature of both, that is coagulative or liquefactive necrosis. So it combines the features of both type of necrosis, that is coagulative as well as liquefactive necrosis. So we can focus on this diagram. Here it depicts the foci of caseous necrosis, as the name implies, resembles dry cheese and are soft, granular and yellowish. This appearance is partly attributed to the histotoxic effects of lipopolysaccharides present in the capsule of tubercle bacilli, that is Mycobacterium tuberculosis. Now microscopically the necrosed foci are structureless, eosinophilic and contain granular debris. The surrounding tissue shows characteristic granulomatous inflammatory reaction consisting of epithelioid cells with that is spread giant cells of Langhans of foreign body type and peripheral mantle of lymphocytes. Here you can see the caseous necrosis in this region, or this is the histological section of the lung. So it takes place where the person which suffers from the tubercle or tuberculosis, particularly the infection which is caused by the bacteria or the bacilli, that is Mycobacterium tuberculosis. Now the next type of necrosis is fat necrosis. So the fat necrosis is a special form of cell death occurring at two anatomically different locations but morphologically similar lesions. These are following the acute pancreatic necrosis and traumatic fat necrosis commonly in the breast. So here two organs are there, that is pancreatic, that is pancreas, and the second organ, that is breast. Here in the case of pancreas, there is liberation of pancreatic lipase from injured or inflamed tissue that results in necrosis of the pancreas as well as of the fat droplets throughout the peritoneal cavity, and sometimes even affecting the extra-abdominal adipose tissues. The fat necrosis in either of two instances results in hydrolysis of neutral fat present in the adipose cells into the glycerol and free fatty acids. Here the damaged adipose cells assume cloudy appearance when only free fatty acids remain behind after glycerol leaks out, after which the glycerol will leak out or leaks out. Here the leaked out free fatty acids, on the other hand, complexed with the calcium to form calcium soaps, or what we say is that the process that is saponication. Now this is what about the fat necrosis, or here it shows that is the fat necrosis appears as yellowish white and form deposits. Formation of calcium soaps imparts the necrosed foci firmer and chalky white appearance. So it is on the histological section, or microscopically here the necrosed fat cells have cloudy appearance and are surrounded by an inflammatory reaction. Formation of calcium soap is identified in the tissue sections as amorphous, granular and basophilic material. So how we can identify the tissue is necrosed, that is a kind of fat necrosis. Here the tissue which shows in the cross section amorphous, granular and basophilic material. So this is about the fat necrosis. Now the last type of necrosis is fibrinoid necrosis. Now the fibrinoid necrosis or fibrinoid degeneration is characterized by deposition of fibrin-like material which has the staining properties of fibrin. It is encountered in various examples of immunologic tissue injury. Examples such as immune complex vasculitis, autoimmune diseases, then different reactions such as Arthur's reaction. So arterioles in hypertension or peptic ulcers. So the different examples where such a fibrinoid necrosis takes place, particularly the arterioles in hypertension, then peptic ulcers. Now histologically the fibrinoid necrosis is identified by brightly eosinophilic hyaline-like deposition in the vessel or the vessel wall or on the luminal surface of a peptic ulcer. Local hemorrhages. Hemorrhages means blood loss. So local blood loss may occur due to the rupture of these blood vessels. Now this is what about the fibrinoid necrosis. So here you can focus on this diagram. So this diagram which depicts the two processes, that is apoptosis or necrosis. Apoptosis, it is a kind of programmed cell death. Programmed cell death, it is essential for the development of animals. So here this is the kind of a process that is apoptosis, and now we are focusing on the necrosis. We are focusing on this that is necrosis. Here you can see this is the normal cell. Now here the cell necrosis, here it is identified by homogeneous eosinophilic cytoplasm and nuclear changes by, here you can see this is the normal cell and the clear cytoplasm, and here the necrosis which takes place due to the changes in the cytoplasm, due to the changes in the nuclear material. So the cell necrosis is identified by homogeneous eosinophilic cytoplasm and nuclear changes such as, that is the process of pycnosis, then karyolysis or karyolexis. So by which here you can see the necrosis takes place. So you can focus on this diagram. You can see, observe this diagram. Here you can see the apoptotic bodies, or here you can see the phagocytic bodies are formed. So, and you know the function of phagocytosis, you know the function of macrophages. They are the scavenger cells. So scavenger cells are what we say is that they feeding on the such a foreign bodies. So this is what about the necrosis. In that we discussed the definition of necrosis, then cytoplasmic and nuclear changes occurs due to the necrosis, and various types of necrosis. Okay, so thank you so much.